Welcome back to Unlocked, the podcast where we decode the latest trends in technology and cybersecurity. I am your host, Shai Sharif, and today we are diving into something that is fundamentally changing how we build software, something called vibe coding and its relationship with low code, no code revolution that is sweeping through enterprises worldwide. Now, you might be thinking, what is exactly vibe coding and why should I care about it, especially if I am not a developer? Well, stick with me for the next 10 minutes because this trend is not just changing how software gets built, it is creating entirely new security challenges that affect every organization from startups to future 500 companies. Let me start with a story. Imagine Sarah, a marketing manager at a mid-sized company. She has a brilliant idea for automating her team's campaign tracking. But traditionally, she would need to submit a ticket to IT, wait weeks or months for development, and hope the final product matches her vision. But today, with vibe coding, Sarah can open up a platform, describe what she wants in plain English, something like, I need an app that tracks our social media campaigns and sends alerts when engagement drops. And within minutes, she has a working application. This is vibe coding in action. Development that responds to the vibe, the intent, the natural language description of what someone wants to build. Now, this sounds fantastic, right? And it is. But here's where it gets interesting from security perspective. Sarah just became what we call a citizen developer, someone building applications without traditional programming knowledge. And Sarah is not alone. Research shows we are seeing a massive shift towards democratized development. Similar to how internet created citizen journalists, we now have citizen developers creating applications across organizations. This brings us to the broader landscape. We have traditional coding, which requires deep technical expertise. We have low-code platforms that provide visual development with drag and drop interfaces. We have no-code platforms that require virtually no technical knowledge. And now we have vibe coding, which uses AI to interpret natural language and automatically generates applications. Each step in this evolution makes application development more accessible, but also introduces new risks that security teams are scrambling to understand and address. This democratization has created what security experts are calling a wild, unwalled garden of apps. Think about it. When Sarah builds her marketing application, does it go through the same security review as an application built by the core IT team? Probably not. Does it follow the same data handling policies? Maybe, maybe not. Does IT even know it exists? Often the answer is no. This phenomenon is called shadow IT, and it represents one of the biggest challenges facing organizations today. According to recent security research, these citizen-developed applications often operate outside traditional software development lifecycle processes, leading to inadequate security testing before deployment. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine a sales team builds a customer tracking application using a no-code platform. They connect it to the company's customer database, integrated with email systems, and start storing customer communications. But because they are not security experts, they might store sensitive customer data without proper encryption, use weak authentication methods, accidentally expose data to unauthorized users, integrate with third-party services that do not meet compliance requirements. Now, multiply this scenario across dozens or hundreds of applications being built by well-meaning employees across the organization. Suddenly, your security perimeter is not just the applications IT built and manages. It includes this entire ecosystem of citizen-developed applications, each potentially creating new entry points for attackers. The research I have been reviewing indicates that this creates what they call citizen developer knowledge gaps. These are not knowledge gaps about the business. Citizen developers are often domain experts. These are gaps in understanding secure coding practices, data privacy principles, and compliance requirements. Now, for those of you in IT or DevOps roles, here is where things get really interesting. Traditional software development follows what we call a CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous development pipelines. This is essentially an automated assembly line that takes code, tests it, checks it for security issues, and deploys it safely to production. But vibe coding and low-code/no-code platforms often bypass these pipelines entirely. When Sarah builds her marketing app, it does not go through the same automated security scanning that traditional code would. It does not get the same vulnerability assessments. It might not even get logged in the same monitoring systems. This creates what I call pipeline fragmentation. Instead of one control, monitor, deployment process, you suddenly have dozens of separate deployment mechanisms, each with different security controls or potentially no security controls at all. For security teams, this is like trying to monitor a city where some neighborhoods have security cameras and others do not. You end up with blind spots where applications are running, processing data, and potentially creating vulnerabilities, but you have limited visibility into what they are doing. The traditional security tools that work great for conventional code, things like static application security testing, become less effective when dealing with visual, component-based development where the underlying code is abstracted or generated by AI. So does this mean we should ban vibe coding and low-code platforms? Absolutely not. The innovation and agility benefits are too significant to ignore. Instead, we need to evolve our security practices to match this new reality. First, organizations need what researchers call a governance-first approach. This means establishing centralized oversight that extends to centralized development. Think of it like city planning. You want to enable development while ensuring it follows safety codes. Practically, this means implementing approval processes for new applications regardless of how they are built. It means integrating these new development paradigms into your enterprise risk management, and it means maintaining visibility into what applications exist across your organization. Second, identity and access management becomes even more critical. When you have more people building applications, you need stronger controls around who can access what data. Multi-factor authentication, granular permissions, and automated user lifecycle management are not optional. They are essential. Third, you need what security experts call a data-centric approach. Instead of just securing applications, you focus on securing the data itself. This means mandatory encryption, comprehensive data loss prevention strategies, and clear policies about what data can be used where. Fourth, you need to adapt your application security practices. This includes implementing security principles into platform selection, establishing supply chain security for the components and integrations these platforms use, and deploying web application firewalls and monitoring tools. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, you need education. Remember Sarah, our marketing manager? She is not trying to create security vulnerabilities. She just wants to solve a business problem. Organizations need to invest in security training for citizen developers, create security champions within business units, and develop incident response plans that account for these new types of applications. The future of software development is collaborative, intuitive, and democratized. Vibe coding represents the next step in this evolution, where the barrier between having an idea and implementing it continues to shrink. But as we have discussed today, democratizing development does not mean abandoning security principles. It means evolving them. The organizations that will succeed are those that embrace these new development paradigms while proactively addressing the security challenges they create. The key insight here is that security cannot be an afterthought. It needs to be embedded into these platforms and processes from the beginning. We need security that is as intuitive and accessible as the development tools themselves. That is a wrap for today's episode of Unlocked. We have explored how vibe coding and low-code, no-code platforms are reshaping software development, the security challenges they create, and practical strategies for addressing them. If you are dealing with these challenges in your own organization, remember, you are not alone. This is a rapidly evolving space, and security community is actively developing new approaches and best practices. As always, if you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with colleagues who might benefit from these insights. Until next time, this is Shai Sharif, reminding you to stay curious, stay secure, and keep unlocking the future of technology.